Welcome everyone to the Raymond School Fields, where we are set to bring you Brockton Blazers softball. Tonight's game is a South Shore Summer Softball League 12U White-1 division game between visiting East Bridgewater and the hometown Brockton Blazers. We're just about ready to start our first inning here, and it's going to be Hannah leading things off here for East Bridgewater. Tyshana will be the starting pitcher for the Blazers. First pitch is swung on and missed for strike one. Down and in, evens the count up at a ball and a strike. Quick timeout to get a fielder's mask in the hand of one of our Blazers. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and grounded back up the middle. It's fielded at short. The throw to first is not in time. And the ball goes out of play. And Hannah will end up at second. That's going to bring Chloe up to bat next here for East Bridgewater. First pitch is offered at and missed. Strike one. The 0-1. In there for a call, strike two. The runner tries to go to third, and the throw ends up in left field, and Hannah will come around and score the first run of the game for East Bridgewater. The two-strike pitch. Swung on and missed, strike three, and that will be the first out of the inning. Gianna steps in next here for East Bridgewater. First pitch is popped up in front of the plate, and Zoe Mompoint with the catch. Two down now in the inning. That'll bring Brielle up. She swings at the first pitch and grounds it over to third, and it's foul. Brielle's back in the box. Tyshana is set, and she delivers. Ground ball back to the pitcher. Tyshana fields. The throw to first is there for the out. That retires the side. East Bridgewater picks up a run, and as we go to the home half of the first inning, East Bridgewater 1, Brockton coming up. All right, as we get ready for the bottom of the first inning, let's check in with the starting lineups as we didn't get a chance to before the game began. For visiting East Bridgewater, we saw Hannah, Chloe, Gianna, and Brielle, the top four in their order. Bria batting 5th, Liana is batting 6th, Maeve batting 7th, Addie batting 8th, and Sienna batting 9th. For the Blazers, we'll have Tyshana leading things off with Zoe batting 2nd, Ada batting 3rd, Avery in the cleanup spot, Leia batting 5th, Cassie batting 6th, Maya batting 7th, Kaylee batting 8th, Sophia batting 9th, Kayla batting 10th, Divine batting 11th, Amelia batting 12th, and Kylie batting 13th. Warm-up pitches have come to a close, and Tyshana will get set to lead things off for Brockton. Here's the pitch. Up high, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. High again, ball 2. Pitcher's ready, and she delivers. Swung on and fouled back. 2 balls and 1 strike to count now here on Tyshana. Ball 3 misses outside. Swinging a ground ball back up to the middle. Pitcher tries to field it, goes to the second baseman, and it's not in time. Tyshana ends up with an infield single. First pitch to Zoe misses inside. The runner goes, and she will make it to second. Got a little field maintenance going on to get second base back in its spot. And we're set to go here now. The 1-0 pitch. Down low, ball 2 gets by the catcher, and Tyshana will advance to third. Here's the 2-0. In there for a called strike. 2 balls and 1 strike to count here on Zoe. Here's the pitch. Grounded over towards third. It's fielded there. The throw to first is in time for the out, but Tyshana comes in to score, and Brockton is pulled even. Ada steps in next for the Blazers. She swings and misses at the first pitch for strike 1. Pitcher's ready. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fouled back, and Ada's quickly in the hole 0-2. Here's the 2-strike offering. Up and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes here on Ada. comes. Swung on and missed. Strike three. It gets by the catcher. And Ada is going to be able to reach first with no throw. That puts one on with one out as Avery steps in. She swings and misses at the first pitch. Ada goes towards second, and she will get there. The ball goes into center field, and she's going to continue on over to third. They're going to wave her around, and Ada will come all the way around and score. And just like that, the Blazers go up by a run. Pitch misses up high. Ball and a strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch. High, ball two. Outside, 3 balls and 1 strike to count here on Avery. Here's the pitch. Up high, ball 4. Avery draws a 1-out walk. Leia will be the hitter next for the Blazers. First pitch is swung on and missed. It goes by the catcher a little bit, and that's going to allow Avery to get to second. Here's the 0-1. High for a ball. Pitch misses high for a ball. What a grab by the catcher. The throw to third is not in time. Heck of a play by the catcher to hang on to that one, and she almost got the out at third as well. 2 balls and a strike to count here on Leia. Down low. Gets by the catcher. Avery's going to try and score. Oh, she thought better of it. She's going back to third. And she slides back in safely. This has been the proverbial adventure on the bases for Avery, but she's still standing at third. Here's the 3-1. Down low, ball 4. That puts runners at the corners here with 1 out as Cassie steps in. She takes the first pitch down low, and Leia will head to second and get there on the defensive indifference. Puts 2 in scoring position now here for Brockton. Low, ball 2. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Outside, ball 3. Nice grab by the catcher to keep it in front of her. Cassie well ahead in the count here, 3-0. Pitcher winds and delivers. Inside ball 4. That's going to load the bases up for the Blazers here. As Maya steps in. She had a big single to kick off the Blazers scoring in the game on Monday as she drove in the first 2 runs of the game. She's up here in another good spot. Chance to bring some runs home. She swings and fouls the first pitch back for strike 1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. In there for called strike 2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Down low for a ball. Gets by the catcher. Avery's going to try and score. And she slides in safely with the 3rd run. Another run's going to try and score. And Leia comes in as well. Cassie ends up on 3rd. And all told, when the dust settles, 2 runs in for Brockton. Runner on 3rd here. Still room for 1 more in the inning for the Blazers. One ball and 2 strikes to count here on Maya. Here's the pitch. Up high, evens the count up at 2-2. Pitcher set. And she delivers. High and outside, ball 3. Cassie's going to try and score. She is safe. And that will be the 5th run of the inning, which will bring the top of the 1st inning to a close. Brockton picks up the max they can. 5 runs in. We've completed 1 full inning. Brockton 5, East Bridgewater 1. All right, we're back here to start the 2nd inning. Bria will lead things off for the Vikings. She swings at the first pitch and she grounds it into left field for a hit. She rounds first, but she'll stay there as she picks herself up a leadoff single. bring Liana up next. 1 on, nobody out here in the top of the second. Tyshawn is set, and she delivers. Down low for a ball, runner goes, and she will make it with no throw. The 1-0. Runner goes again. The throw to third. Not in time. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Swinging a ground ball past the shortstop, out into center field for a hit. Run comes in to score, and Liana has herself an RBI single. Maeve steps in next for East Bridgewater. Shakes the first pitch down and in. Runner goes. The throw to second is not in time. Here's the 1-0. In there for a called strike. Evens the count up at 1-1. Here's the pitch. Called strike 2 over the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here on Maeve. Tyshawn is set, and she delivers. Fouled back. The count remains 1-2. Pitcher's ready. Here it comes. Fouled off the first base side. Here's another 1-2 pitch. Popped up off the side to first base, and nobody can quite get there. We almost had a meeting of the mom points on that one. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. A great at-bat by Maeve before Tyshawn finally gets her down by way of the strikeout. 1 down in the inning. And Addie will be the next hitter for East Bridgewater. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. It gets by the catcher. And Liana will head over to third base. Swung on and fouled off. And Addie's in the hole 0-2. The 2-strike pitch. Misses low. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Here's the 1-2. Down low. It gets by the catcher, but not far enough for the runner to try and score. Counts evened up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here it comes. Swung on and fouled off out of play off the first base side. Count remains 2-2. And we've got a timeout for our first untied cleat of the game. All right, we're set here. Addie's back in the box with a 2-2 count. And here's the pitch. Right there for a called strike 3. Second strikeout of the inning. As Sienna will be the batter for East Bridgewater. Here's the pitch. Strike 1. Squirts by the catcher, but there's going to be no attempt to score. Here's the 0-1. Down low, ball and a strike. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here on Sienna. 2 down in the inning. Tyshauna trying to get out of the inning with no further damage. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 3 straight Ks to end the inning. East Bridgewater does pick up a run, so as we head to the bottom half of the second inning, Brockton 5, East Bridgewater 2. All right, we're back here for the home half of the second inning. Brockton leading by 3 as Mayo will lead things off. She was up at bat when the last run came in on a pass ball. She takes the first pitch inside for a ball. The 1-0. And it hits her. Maya will end up on first with the hit by pitch to lead things off. And that's going to bring Kaylee up to bat next. Kaylee pops the first pitch, fouled back. Thought that one was actually going to clear the fence and come right at me. Praise be to the backstop. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed. And Kaylee's quickly in the hole 0-2. The pitch. Over the outside corner for a called strike 3. First out of the inning. As Sophia will be the next hitter for the Blazers. Pitch. Down and outside, goes to the backstop, and Maya will advance to second. The 1-0. In there for a called strike, even in the count up at 1-1. Here's the pitch. Outside, 2 balls and a strike here on Sophia. Outside, ball 3. Here's the 3-1. Outside, ball 4. Sophia will take the walk. That puts runners at first and second here with 1 down for the Blazers as Kayla steps into the box. She swings at the first pitch and fouls it off. Here's the 0-1. Down and in, it gets by the catcher, and both runners will advance. That'll put 2 in scoring position here for Brockton. Here's the 1-1. Fouled back. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count on Kayla. Pitcher set and delivers. High and outside. And no runner advance here. Does even the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 misses low, and the counts run full. Here's the payoff pitch. Fouled off, and we'll do it again. A run comes in to score for Brockton. The foul ball. the 3-2 pitch. Down low, and Kayla draws a walk. Runners at the corners here with one down as Devine comes in to be the next hitter. She takes the first pitch over the outside corner for a strike. The 0-1. Fouled off, and Devine quickly fouls down to the count. 0-2. The pitch. Fouled back. Another 0-2 pitch. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes here on Devine. Inside, and the count's evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Swinging a ground ball over towards second base. It's fielded there. The throw to first is not handled. 2 runs come in to score. And Devine reaches on the error. Amelia, the next hitter here for Brockton. She watches the first pitch go for a ball. Devine tries to steal second, and she will make it there. Here's the 1-0. Amelia squares. She puts the bunt down. The pitcher fields it. The throw to first. In time for the out. Devine will come in to score. Kylie, the batter here for Brockton. Pitch misses down low. Pitcher's ready, and the pitch. High and outside. Down and in, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike to count here on Kylie. Right there, called strike 2. The count's full. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And that will bring the inning to a close. Brockton does pick up 4 more runs after 2 completed innings. Brockton 9, East Bridgewater 2. back to start the third inning. Top of the order for East Bridgewater as Hannah leads things off. She reached on an error and scored her first time up as she takes the first pitch down and in for a ball. Swinging a round ball over to first, and it's foul. The 1-1 pitch. Down low, 2 balls and 1 strike to count here on Hannah. Here's the pitch. Fouled off, evens the count up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2 pitch. Little high and tight, and the count's full. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3 for the first out of the inning. That'll bring Chloe up next for the Vikings. She swings and lines the first one over towards second. It's fielded there. The throw to first is in time for the out. And just like that, 2 quick outs in the inning here as Gianna will step in. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, and Tyshawn is quickly ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 0-2. Misses up high. 1 ball and 2 strikes here on Gianna. Here's the pitch. Swing popped up over towards the left field side, but foul. Count remains 1-2. Deshawn is ready, and she delivers. Swung on and missed. The catcher drops it. The throw to first is not handled cleanly there. Gianna's going to try and get to second, and they will throw it into the pitcher. Gianna ends up at second after the strikeout. That puts a runner in scoring position here with 2 down, as Brielle will be the batter. She swings and misses at the first pitch. Here it comes. Down low, and it gets by the catcher, and Gianna will end up over at third. The 1-1. Popped, foul, and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count here on Brielle. Here's the pitch. Grounded back up the middle, and it's going to get through into center field for a hit. Gianna comes in to score, and Brielle has an RBI single. East Bridgewater cuts the lead to 6 as Bria comes up to bat. She singled and scored her first time up. First pitch misses outside. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. Evens the count up at a ball and a strike. Here's the 1-1. Popped up towards the middle of the infield, and it falls down there. Infield single for Bria puts runners at first and second now. Liana will step into the box next. She singled her last time up. Tashana delivers. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. Everyone's ready here. Tashana's back on the rubber, and the 2-strike pitch. Grounded over towards short. It gets into the outfield for a hit. Brielle will come around and score. Bria heads into third, and she will be stopped there as Liana has herself an RBI double. Two in scoring position now here for East Bridgewater as Maeve steps in next. Here's the pitch. Over the inside corner for a called strike 1. The 0-1. Outside. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Down and away. 2 balls and a strike, the count here on Maeve. Pop foul. Evens the count up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here with 2 on in the top of the third. Brockton leading by 5. Here's the 2-2 pitch. In there over the inside corner for a called strike 3, and that will bring the inning to a close. East Bridgewater does pick up a pair of runs, and as we head to the bottom half of the third inning, Brockton 9, East Bridgewater 4. We're back here for the start of the bottom of the third inning as Tyshauna will lead things off here for the Blazers. She fouls the first pitch off. She singled and scored her first time up. Here's the 0-1. Popped up, foul, and out of play. Tyshauna quickly in the hole now, 0-2. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Popped over towards the third baseline, and it rolls foul. Another 2-strike pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. One down now in the inning as Zoe comes up to bat next. She takes the first pitch for a called strike. Down and outside evens the count up 1-1. Here's the pitch. Down in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike, the count here on Zoe. Here's the 2-1. Inside, ball 3. High, ball 4, and Zoe draws a 1-out walk. Ada steps in next for the Blazers. She reached on a drop third strike and scored back in the first. She swings and misses at the first pitch. Runner goes. The throw down to second is not in time. Here's the 0-1. Fouled off. Ada's in the hole 0-2. Here's a 2-strike pitch. Up high, 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here on Ada. Up high, evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. They try to pick Zoe off at second, and she's going to make it to third. The 2-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Two down now in the inning. As Avery comes up the bat, she walked and scored her first time up. She takes the first pitch up and outside, ball 1. Outside, gets away from the catcher, and Zoe comes in to score. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 on Avery. Fouled off. The count's evened up at 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. The pitch swung on and missed, strike 3, and that will retire the side. Brockton does pick up a run, and as we head to the 4th inning, Brockton 10, East Bridgewater 4. All right, we're ready to start the 4th inning. East Bridgewater comes up trailing by 6. Addie leading things off for the Vikings. She swings at the first pitch and grounds it over towards shortstop. It's fielded there. The throw to first is not handled cleanly, and Addie will reach. Sienna, the next hitter. She swings and grounds the first pitch over to first base. Cassie takes it herself for the out. Addie advances to second, and there's one down now in the inning. That'll bring Hannah up to bat. She reached on an error and scored back in the first inning. Shauna is set and delivers. It's popped up over towards the first base side, and it drops down into shallow right field for a hit. Addie is going to be waved around, and she will score. And Hannah ends up with an RBI single. And East Bridgewater will cut the lead to 5. That'll bring Chloe up to bat. Pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. The 0-1. Up high, gets away from the catcher, and the runner will take second. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Catcher drops it. The throw to third. And Hannah makes it to third. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count now here on Chloe. Tyshauna winds and delivers. Down low, it gets to the backstop. Hannah will try and score, and she will make it. Here's the pitch. Down low. Count runs full. Here's the payoff pitch. Lined over to short, and it gets through into the outfield. Chloe's going to try and get to second, and she will reach. One out. The throw gets by the pitcher, and she's going to advance over to third. A one-out double for Chloe. Gianna steps in next. She reached on a drop third strike and scored her last time up. She pops the first pitch up back towards the pitcher. Tyshana makes the catch there for the second out of the inning. That brings Brielle up next for the Vikings. She singled and scored last time up. She takes the first pitch down and in for a ball. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Lined into right field for a hit. Chloe comes in to score, and Brielle has another RBI single. The Brockton lead is now cut to 3. Bria will be the next hitter for East Bridgewater, as we now have a committee meeting at the mound. Meeting is adjourned as Bria will get ready to step into the box. She's singled twice and scored once so far tonight. Pitch outside for a ball. The pitch over the outside corner for strike 1. Here's the 1-1. Lined into right center field, and it gets into the gap. Brielle is being waved around, and she will score, as Bria has an RBI single, and the lead is now 2. Liana steps up next. She's got a single and a double so far tonight. She takes the first pitch high for ball. The runner goes. The throw to second is into center field. And Bria will end up at third. The 1-0. Down low, ball 2. The 2-0. Grounded back to the pitcher. The throw to first is not handled there. Run will come in to score, and that's the 5th run of the inning. And that will bring the inning to a close. East Bridgewater picks up 5 runs, and they pull back into this one as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Brockton 10, East Bridgewater 9. All right, we're set here for the home half of the 4th inning. Leia leading things off for the Blazers. She walked and scored her first time up. She pops the first pitch, foul. Swing and a ground ball back towards the pitcher. She feels it there. The throw to first is there. Oh, they pulled the first baseman wasn't on the bag. So Leia reaches. Cassie will step in next for the Blazers. She walked and scored back in the first inning. Here's the pitch. Up high for a ball. Runner goes. The throw down to second. It's not going to be in time. Cassie gets back in the box. And the 1-0 pitch. Fouled off the catcher. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Up high, 2 balls and 1 strike here on Cassie. She swings and misses, strike 2. Leia casually walks to third. There's definitely some confusion on the field there. The 2-2 pitch. Lined into left field, it drops down for a hit. Leia comes in to score. And Cassie's going to try and get to second. And she is tagged out there. The run comes in to score. And then 7-6-4 on the putout at second base. As there's now one out in the inning. Maya steps in next here for the Blazers. She was hit by a pitch and scored her first time up. She grounds the first pitch back to the pitcher. The throw to first is there for the out. 2 down now in the inning. Kaylee stands in next. And she fouls off the first pitch. Here's the 0-1. Down low, ball 1. The 1-1 pitch. Inside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike to count here on Kaylee. Pitcher set, and here it comes. Up and away, ball 3. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swung on and missed, and the count's full. Here's the payoff pitch. Down and inside, ball 4, and Kaylee draws a 2-out walk. That's going to bring Sophia up next for Brockton. She walked and scored back in the second inning. Here's the pitch. Down low, runner goes, and Kaylee will reach second. Here's the 1-0. Over the outside corner, evens the count up at a ball and a strike. Here's the pitch. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike here on Sophia. Here's the 2-1. Grounded foul off the third base side. Oh, and Sophia has been awarded first base on a catcher's interference. I think we've seen more catcher's interference calls this week than I think I have in an entire season. First pitch to Kayla is high and outside. Gets to the backstop, and both runners will advance. 2 now in scoring position here for the Blazers with 2 outs. Big spot here as they look to try and expand their lead. Kayla walked and scored in her first plate appearance. Here's the 1-0. Up high. Here's the 2-0. Over the inside corner, 2 balls and 1 strike. The count now here on Kayla. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Evens things up at 2-2. Some chicanery on the bases here, but when it all comes down to it, it's 2 balls and 2 strikes and no advancement. Here's the 2-2. Fouled off the third base side. Here's the pitch. Swinging a ground ball over to short. It's fielded there. The throw to first is in time for the out. That will end the inning. Brockton does pick up an insurance run, and as we head to the 5th inning, Brockton 11, East Bridgewater 9. All right, we're set here for the top of the 5th inning. Maeve leading things off for the Vikings. They trail by 2. Just takes a pitch down and in for a ball. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fouled off. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here on Maeve. Here's the 1-2. Popped up out towards center field, and it drops down. And Maeve has herself a leadoff single. Addie will be the next hitter for East Bridgewater. She reached on an error and scored her last time up. Here's the pitch. Outside, runner goes. The throw to second. And not going to be there. Here's the 1-0. Swung on a popped over towards first. A great try by Cassie. She couldn't quite come up with it. Here's the 1-1. Lined into center field, and it drops down and gets by. Maeve is going to come around, and she will score. And Addie reaches second. And it's an RBI double, and the lead is cut to 1. Sienna's the next hitter for the Vikings. Still nobody out in the inning. She swings and misses at the first pitch. Here's the 0-1. In there for a called strike, too. Here's the 0-2. Nice grab by Zoe to keep that ball in play. Not allow the runner to try and get to third there. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count here on Sienna. The pitch. Foul tipped. And we'll do it again. Shauna gets set, and she delivers. Grounded back towards the mound on the third base side. The throw to first. Not in time. That's a tough play for the pitcher to make. She had to come a long way to field that ball. And that'll put runners at the corners here. Nobody out as Hannah steps up. She's reached on an error, singled, and scored twice so far tonight. She takes the first pitch down and in. Here's the 1-0. Grounded into the vacated spot at shortstop, into left field for a hit. Addie comes in to score. Sienna is held at third. And Hannah will end up at second on the throw in with an RBI single. And the game is now tied at 11. We have another meeting of the minds going on for the Blazers here. 2 in scoring position. Still nobody out in the inning as Chloe will be the hitter. She doubled and scored her last time up. She lines the first pitch. She sees into right field. Sienna comes in to score. Hannah will be right behind her as she comes in, and Chloe's got herself a 2-run double. And just like that, East Bridgewater now jumps on top. Gianna the batter here. She reached on a drop third strike and scored back in the third. She swings at the first pitch and fouls it out of play. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed, strike two. Shauna quickly ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Down and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes here now, the count on Gianna. Shauna set and delivers. Down low. Runner tries to go to third. And she is safe at third. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Grounded foul off the third base side. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And that's the first out of the inning. That's going to bring Brielle up next for the Vikings. She's got a pair of RBI singles and has scored twice so far tonight. He swings and misses at the first pitch for strike 1. Here's the 0-1. Popped over towards first base. Cassie makes the catch there. The throw to third is not going to be there. 2 outs now in the inning. Bria will be the next hitter for East Bridgewater. She's singled all 3 times up and has scored twice. She takes the first pitch down low. Down low again. Ball 2. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count here on Bria. The 2-1 pitch. And it hits her. Runners at first and third now here with 2 down as Liana comes up to bat. She's singled, doubled, and reached on an error so far tonight. All right, we had a call out. I believe the runner on first stepped off the base early, and that will bring the inning to an end. East Bridgewater does pick up 4 runs though, and after 4.5 innings, East Bridgewater now on top, 13-11. All right, we're ready now here for the bottom half of the fifth inning. Brockton trailing by 2. Devine will lead things off for the Blazers. She reached on an error in her first time up and scored. She takes the first pitch up and outside for a ball. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Down low, ball 2. Here's the 2-0. Up and away. 3 balls and no strikes to count here on Devine. Here's the pitch. Over the inside corner, strike 1. Here's the 3-1. Up high, ball 4, and Devine draws a leadoff walk. Amelia steps in. She sacrificed bunted a run home her first time up. Devine goes. She's safe at second. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Right there for a called strike. One. Misses down low, 2 balls and a strike. Runner's going to go, and she's going to make it to third. Pitcher's ready, and she delivers. Right down Broadway, strike 2. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Called, strike 3. 1 away now in the inning. Kylie steps in next for the Blazers. First pitch is up high for a ball. Here's the 1-0. Inside, ball 2. The 2-0 pitch. In there for a strike. 2 balls and a strike to count here on Kylie. Called, strike 2. Evens the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. The throw home. She gets under the tag. And Devine comes in to score. The Blazers still down by a run. Two outs in the inning here as Tyshauna comes up. She singled and scored back in the first inning. She takes the first pitch outside for a ball. Swing and it popped up down the left field line, but foul. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Inside, ball 2. The 2-1 pitch. Lined into left field for a hit. It gets by there. Tyshawn is going to head for second. And she is in there with a double. Zoe steps in next. She walked and scored in her last plate appearance. She squares to bunt. And it hits her. Runners at first and second now here with 2 down as Ada comes up. She reached on a drop third strike and scored back in the first. She fouls off the first pitch for strike 1. The 0-1. Line towards first base. It gets out for a hit. 8 is in. Tyshauna comes in to score, and this game is tied. Ada ends up at second. 2 in scoring position now here. The potential winning run is on third base as Avery comes up to bat. She walked and scored in her first plate appearance. First pitch misses outside for a ball. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Outside, ball 2. The 2-0 pitch. Pop back foul. 2 balls and a strike. The count here on Avery. Down and in, ball 3. 3-1 the count here on Avery. 2 on with 2 outs. Ground ball over to short. It's fielded there. The throw to first is in time for the out. And that is going to bring the game to an end as the time limit has expired. You cannot start a new inning after an hour, 45 minutes after the game starts. The teams line up and they congratulate each other on a game well played. And this game ends in a tie. Your final score, Brockton 13, East Bridgewater 13. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you next time for some more Brockton Blazers softball.